Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Untapped Podcast. My name is Jacob Gabel.
And my name is Jacob Wurtz. Guys, welcome to the Michael Jordan episode of Season 3.
Oh!
If this is your first time joining us for the Untapped Podcast, first of all, thank you for joining us. We are thrilled to have you here. We've actually got 5 main formats of our show. First, we have Forging Fortitude in these episodes. We cover everything to do with the mental side, okay? We are combining the mental and the physical here with Untapped. So in these episodes, we cover our anecdotal experiences with mindset and mentality, and we pass on advice to you guys to then apply to your own life. Next, we have Physical Vitality episodes, which is what we have for you today. In these episodes, we cover the physical side of the brand, okay? We get to showcase our expertise because you have 2 certified personal trainers here. In these episodes, we cover everything to do with the gym, fitness, diet, nutrition, workout programs like 75 Hard. We go over different ideas and articles that are going on in the fitness industry. We talk about them. We pull those up, give our opinions on them. And then like today, we talk about our anecdotal experience with different things in the fitness industry.
Love it, dude. Yeah, you're dialed today. Guys, our third format is our breaking news format. Now, that is a current event-based format. The whole idea behind that is making sure you guys are aware of what's going on in the world, but not, totally going down the black pill route of everything is going to, burn, everything is going wrong with the world. We're basically bringing awareness, so we're ready for when things come around. We go over articles. We go over new things going on in the world that you guys should be aware of and to call it the bullshit of it.
Right.
Fourth format, ladies and gentlemen, is our Knights Table episodes. Knights Table is a masculinity-based format, but keep in mind, I'm 25, Wurtz is 24, very soon to be 25 as well, and then Mitch is 23 over there. The reason I say that is because we're not some kind of complete masculine man coming to you. We are bringing you on the journey of becoming a masculine man, and really what it means to continue to grow as a man as you get older and older, and honestly bring a lot of value to this world. We really think masculinity is paramount in our current society, and something we need to bring back. No toxic masculinity, just real masculinity. Now, guys, our fifth format is our guest format. That is when we sit down with somebody that brings you value. Could be a fitness professional, entrepreneur, somebody with an amazing story, that type of thing. We learn a lot from those episodes. You guys are also going to learn a lot from those episodes, and for all of our episodes for that matter. And our final thing to introduce, ladies and gentlemen, is our producer and my brother, Mitchell Gabel.
Hey, guys. What's going on?
Super cheery today.
What a cheesy voice that was.
Just an absolute cornball over there.
All right.
Yeah.
Keep that guy muted.
Yeah, because you know me.
And then he goes like silent. He goes like quiet mode after that.
Right.
After this cheery little
back
intro.
to normal Mitch there.
Yeah, okay.
Technically, Gable, just to be technical, the day that you guys are hearing this episode, I'll be 25.
That's a good point.
So
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I've already thought about this. This is kind of crazy. Yeah. Monday is going to be Merry Monday, number 114. It'll be episode 23 of season 3, and my birthday. That's a big day right there.
It's a huge.
I'm just saying.
The first 2 things are a lot more important. You're still my son, but
sorry, did you hear something? I didn't hear it either. Yeah, I didn't either. Yeah, Mitch, I am curious. This is obviously a physical vitality episode, so just. I'm going somewhere with this.
All right, I thought you were...
No.
You thought he was going to cook you?
Yeah.
You finished phase 1.
Uh-huh.
How'd you like it? What was your experience with it?
I liked how it was short because...
Kind of like you. I had to. I'm so sorry.
Wow. Because of the...
Back-to-backers, eh?
Because of the added-on task. I like the shortness of it because I don't think that's sustainable.
It's grueling.
Over 75 days.
Especially 8 critical tasks. That's miserable.
Yeah, I just don't think that's sustainable.
It's just a lot. Yeah, which is obviously why he normally talks about having 5 per day because that feels much more doable.
It does.
5 critical things to get done every day and whatnot. But no, you're 100% right. Like 8 is a lot. Did the cold showers bother you at all?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Well, the problem is at our condo too. Like, and you've experienced this, is like our showers are, when it gets hot outside, the water has trouble getting cold.
Yeah.
Like real trouble. Like we drop it to the lowest possible setting on both showers in the condo, and it's like we're doing our best.
Right.
But there's only so much we can do. But,
yeah.
that sucks, but it is what it is.
And then what's the other Task. Visualization.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How'd that go?
Definitely, I used it kind of for more so religious time, praying, stuff like that.
Nice.
Yeah, I think that's probably honestly the biggest part of it. I think that accelerates you in ways
and like
that a lot of people don't realize. The manifesting, the whole believing and seeing.
Believing it's real.
Yeah.
What do they actually call it? It's isn't it considered quantum physics, like all the manifestation and the visualization? I believe there's
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty fascinating.
I just
stuff.
think of Ant-Man anytime I hear quantum physics.
And
It's
you
a
probably
real
think of the
thing.
secret. Yeah.
Willing that
yeah.
stuff into existence and seeing it, and because it also makes you work toward it in a capacity that you just couldn't if you weren't so focused on it. I guess if that makes sense. Yeah.
In the first few days of being on phase 1, that 10 minutes kind of feels like forever.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's just like you kind of take a peek at the clock and it's been 3 minutes.
The first
what?
So I started out because I knew it was going to be AIDS. I turned off the lights and I sat in the bathtub.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's
kind of creepy.
That's some Jeffrey Dahmer type shit right
Yeah,
there.
that's-
What? No, it's to remove like every external
You're
distraction
talking-
because it's quiet,
It's silent.
it's dark, there's nothing around me. So like I don't have any external things to draw away from that.
Yeah.
That's that. I think I did that for the first like 6, 7, 8 days.
Yeah.
And that just kind of built in that habit and started that routine there.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I would have been able to just sit day one and just rip it for 10 minutes.
You know, it's kind of funny you say that because the first time, I guess the only time I've done phase 1, I would almost every single day I would do it in the sauna after a workout. And it was kind of the same thing. It's quiet in there.
We've talked about this before. It's an environment thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And even if there was someone else in there with me, I'd be the guy with like my eyes closed and just, wouldn't be interacting.
It's not awkward
No.
in a sauna at all.
No, not at all. But you're both just getting cooked, but
Yeah, just literally roasted chickens in a sauna. Yeah. They're whipping you up for dinner. But I mean, you make a good point about the environment because you got to think like sauna, hot tub, even taking all external stimulus and getting it out of the way like you did in the bathtub, Mitchell. That type of, even a cold plunge, I guess, could be an option, but I don't think you want to sit.
It's a long time in a cold plunge.
Especially if you're in an actual cold plunge.
Yeah.
You're doing max 5 minutes.
Yeah.
On probably a good day.
Right.
So, but the environment I feel like is actually a really good point there. And we've talked about that with habits and whatnot before.
Definitely. Making it conducive to what you're trying to do.
Because if your environment doesn't allow or isn't helpful at all to literally putting you in the right headspace for whatever activity you're doing, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Which weirdly enough, actually, like now I was thinking about
Goes in
it, transitions really well.
with what we want to talk
I didn't
about
even
here.
mean to do that.
Yeah,
to be
go ahead.
honest with you. But so guys, we're transitioning here. And the reason I did that is because we're talking about things being conducive for you either gaining results or staying consistent in the gym, specifically on this episode.
Yeah.
Now, the reason we called it the power of the anecdote or power of anecdote is, and we've talked about this, and we mentioned it in Forging Fortitude whenever we introduce it, where it always says we go over anecdotal evidence with that because obviously it's not something, we don't have science-based evidence, in the psychology
Education.
field.
On it.
Education,
Right,
yeah, correct.
Right.
So we don't speak on that. Now, what we do have evidence-based education in is in the physical vitality realm.
100%.
But we wanted to go over how important anecdotal evidence actually can be, or anecdote in general can be when it comes to physical health.
Yeah.
Because
The validity of it, basically.
Yeah, the validity of it, yeah. Because a lot of people, so one common thing, this will be the easiest way to introduce it, guys, that I see is people will say, this exercise, let's say barbell incline press compared to dumbbell incline press. Let's do that. So you're at a slight incline and you're slowing the way down, pressing it back up, for those of you that don't know what an incline press is. But let's say on a barbell, some people are like, yeah, like that one, it just hurts my shoulder. But then there's this other guy that says, actually, that's my favorite way to load the upper chest.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's one of those situations where it's anecdote. And then, actually the guy with the shoulder issue, actually, I really like using dumbbell incline better because it feels like I am allowed to go through a certain range of motion with my shoulder, and it's a little bit healthier because of that reason.
Yeah.
So in that case, who are we, especially as two trainers, who are we to tell that guy, actually, you got to stick with the barbell incline, even though it's hurting your shoulder, because of the fact that it loads the upper chest more and it's more evidence-based.
Right.
You have to stick with that.
Right.
So that's one of those scenarios where, okay, evidence-based absolutely is a thing, but
For sure.
you shouldn't be relying on it because there are certain situations where one movement that everybody else really enjoys or is able to go through, you might not be able to do.
Yeah.
So you might have to dumb it down to dumbbells or to bands or push-ups or whatever it might be. And that's not a problem.
Or machines.
Now,
some other option.
will you likely get less results? Maybe.
Or slower results.
Slower
maybe.
results? Who knows? But you're still going to be in the gym is the idea.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's very much person to person. Whenever you're going to go experience, it's person to person, which is the point. You know, what works for me may not work for you. What works for you may not work for me.
Yep.
You know, and when someone's getting injured on a particular lift, there's likely a different issue. It's not the movement itself, but there's something, you know, anatomically wrong somewhere, you know, up or down the chain from the pain area, you know. But, you know, there is a reason that science backs a lot of certain types of movements or types of training, but there's also something to be said for, you know, like when someone says, well, it's the way we've always done it. Okay, I hear you.
Yep. Like the Arnold Bro days.
Yeah.
You know, only doing that, this type of training or whatever.
Okay, yeah, it might work. However, science has progressed a lot. Now, the science has never settled, as we covered in an entire episode. Okay? I mean, it's true, though.
That YouTube just yapped off of it.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm talking about the science has settled individual episode that we did.
Yeah, you're talking about season 3, episode 12.
No. Like back in season 2 or season 1. We did an episode called The Science is Settled, but in quotations. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, not the point here.
Yeah.
And in that episode, we were mostly talking about COVID, but but it applies to this as well.
Yep.
The science has never settled, even in the physical world, as far as fitness goes. You know, so things are always changing, things are always improving, things are always being disproven, and just because something's been done the same way forever, this is how we've always done it, doesn't mean it can't change, or it doesn't mean for someone that may not work.
Right.
You know, you and I ourselves, we've tried tons of different styles of training. You know, we've got quite a bit of experience with several different types as well. We've both done plenty of the traditional bodybuilding style, whether that's push-pull legs on a 3 or a 6 day split. We've done plenty of 5 day splits that are more that style. We've done plenty of just splitting up the body, still in a bodybuilding style.
Or we've done like an upper lower 2 days, upper lower other 2 days of the week, 4 days a week and whatnot.
Right.
Yeah, so you're right.
We both have done and are in the middle of functional athletic power building programs, which are super fun to incorporate and super fun to do because you feel like an athlete, and who doesn't want to feel like an athlete? You know, and usually with those types of programs, it's like I said, it's going to be a little bit more power development based rather than strength development based. Strength is how much weight can you move. Power is how fast can you move the weight. Effectively, of course.
Love it.
Not being ridiculous. But for those of you that may not understand the difference between strength and power, there is a very, very clear difference between the two. They're not the same, even though sometimes some people will use those interchangeably. This is what happens when I try to use cool words. You fumble them, you know, just drop the ball. But
you know, it's cool though what you're talking about there about force production and power production in general. Like, for example, Brock's gym at Force, they have a measurement for that.
Oh yeah.
You know, if he's able to move 450 pounds on the trap bar deadlift at 0.8 meters per second compared to he's able to move the next week, he's able to move it at 1 meter per second.
Right.
That's more power production.
Right.
That's a good example of it,
Yeah.
which most gyms obviously aren't going to have that.
Sure.
Force is literally the only one I know of ever that I've been to that
I think
has
so.
something
Yeah.
like that.
I know some gyms have force plates as well. It's a super popular like type of platform.
Gotcha. Yeah.
That essentially does the same thing.
You're talking about Sorinex plates or no?
No, not like literal 45-pound plates. They're just called force plates that are on the ground.
Okay, I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah.
Yep.
You can jump on them. Like we've even got a jump mat at our facility now, which is actually really sweet. It's a
Those
cool
are able
way.
to measure vertical in some
That's
ways
what we
too,
use
right?
it for is the
Okay,
vertical.
gotcha,
yeah, which is it's really, really cool. It's also a true vertical. You're not reaching to see how high you can reach and jump. Now it's just how long are you off the ground, basically.
Awesome.
Anyway, force plates basically do the same thing that Brock has with the Sorinex equipment, which has sensors that read that. The force plates literally read when the weight is taken off of it and then it's put back down.
Nice.
So it's also like a lot of professional teams use that. A lot of the big colleges, that's what they use. But that's all around power development, again, which is different than strength. But we've done stuff like that plenty. We've done, you guys do jujitsu. That's a type of training. We all run, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, yeah.
But we're also all kind of doing the hybrid athlete type training, whether that's bodybuilding and running or functional and running. So that's a style of training, So those are just a few that we've all done.
100%.
And we've seen results with all of them.
Well, and I think where I'd like to point out something as well. Sorry, I was just blanking out over there. But what I would like to point out as well for us is that, for example, whenever, probably for the first, year and a half after you and I reconnected, give or take, I was doing more of what I would consider power building split. Called a power. I say power building in the way of like bodybuilding and powerlifting combined.
Yeah.
So I would do like a really, really large compound movement, like a deadlift to start, and then after that I would jump into like a back workout or and triceps and that after that type of stuff. So it wasn't only bodybuilding focused because it had powerlifting movements involved. And for me, I found that put on the most muscle for myself. Now, it could have been just a new stimulus introduced, or I was training more intense. I don't know what it was. But for me, I found I had a lot more hypertrophy doing power building than I might have been any other style of training.
Definitely.
So guys, this is where that anecdote comes in, because not everybody's going to find power building to be the best way to put on muscle.
Right.
Now, will people put on really good muscle doing it? Yes. Everybody will put on good
strong muscle too.
Same with bodybuilding style training, like because we actually were talking to Mark about this today. Actual bodybuilding training is extremely difficult, and most people don't. Do it.
It's very rigorous.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, if you want to talk about going to failure, 5-6 days a week or whatever and whatnot.
Pretty much every workout.
Every workout, which can just tear your body to pieces.
Oh yeah.
Now, that's probably, if we're talking evidence-based in this scenario, it's every research study has shown that puts on the most lean muscle tissue on somebody.
But now for functionality, is it the best route to go?
Yeah, are you going to be able to run a wide receiver route?
No.
In backyard football? No. You're going to tear your shit.
Yes.
Your knees are going to be gone.
Yes.
So what did we decide we'd rather do is you and I would rather stay athletes and whatnot.
Right.
Now, does that not mean we'll never do bodybuilding or never do power building ever again?
Yeah.
No, it does not mean that.
Right.
But there are different priorities.
Definitely.
To how it goes.
And you and I are just always looking to try new things in general.
Yeah, it's just fun.
When it comes to fitness.
It really is just fun.
It feels good to do different things with your body and see what you're capable of. And like you said, it's a new stimulus. So your mind is kind of like, whoa, what are we doing here? But you feel strong, because it's movements you're not used to. And so it's important. And again, this would be an anecdote here, but it's important to switch up the training at times. If you are just forever training one of whatever it is, at some point, your body's not going to react as well as what it did when you first started.
Unless you're training for the Olympia.
Well, and
or you're
of course.
an NFL player and NHL player, that type of thing.
For sure. If you're training for shows and that's you're doing that as a career, bodybuilding shows and stuff, obviously you're going to train like that. If you're going to be a long-term professional athlete or just collegiate athlete or even just a normal athlete, should you, for the most part, train that style? 100%. Should you be running sprints? 100%. Should you be training power development? 100%. Rotational power, vertical power, horizontal power, you should be doing all those things. Without a doubt. You should also, for anyone, you should be mixing in mobility, stretching, activation. Because if you want to stay healthy as a bodybuilder, you need to have that. You need to.
Now, my question, should you ever train CrossFit?
Absolutely not. That's a confirmed.
So
that's science-based. That's anecdote-based. That's the Wurtz guaranteed based. Never, ever. And here.
I'm President Trump, and I approve this message.
I'm looking at the camera. Never, ever, ever train CrossFit.
You just made a lot of people mad.
I understand.
But anywho, so
we'll get comments.
Yeah.
Hopefully Nate comments about it from verse form.
So you actually made a good point. Well, you said something there where it's that I started to build the foundation with 75, but I really started to realize with phase 1. And again, this is an anecdote. Understanding what your body is capable of. And that's something I've kind of started learning, because I think that's more of a mindset thing, but it's understanding like I can do a lot more than I think. That came with one, running, but I'm going to start calling it weighted Wednesdays, where I'm doing like weighted hikes, but like I'm cruising through those.
It's called a ruck.
Cool.
I thought he was going to say suck me or something like that.
No. But it's like that. I think that's a good way to maybe kind of look at your fitness journey is what can I do?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like what can I make myself do? Like I am literally the biggest advocate for not running because I hate running. Like I despise it. Like
what's worse, running or CrossFit?
I don't know, dude.
CrossFit. You're right.
CrossFit for sure, because I would do running. I wouldn't do CrossFit.
100%.
Yeah.
But like with me, like running on phase 1 and all that good stuff, like I surprised myself that I could do it.
Definitely.
And it wasn't as bad as I was expecting.
Right. And like you said, that is more of a mindset type thing, but it obviously still fits in with the physical as well.
With the work, the workout wise is what can I do?
Right. And, we were talking about this like you kind of referenced there. Most people don't know how to train to failure either. Not that you're training to failure there, Mitch, but you're finding a new level and a new level and a new level. Like, wow, I can run 2 miles. I can run 3 miles. I can run 4. I can run 5. I can run, and so on and so forth. You've run 2 half marathons this year, and January 1st of this year, if I would have told you, hey, Gabel, you're going to run 2 half marathons, you would have laughed at me.
Yeah, I would have been like, get your cornball self out of my face. I think I'm going to run
Just
half
face
marathons.
palm me. Get out of here.
No, you're not talking anymore.
But I think with switching styles and trying new things and trying new training programs, trying new training styles, try to say that 3 times fast.
That was a lot. Yeah.
Trying out things like running or rucking or weighted Wednesdays. Oh, God.
Yeah.
No, I like that. But you consistently find what you're capable of there, and therefore you know what works for you, and you also will find out what doesn't work for you, which is just as important.
Well, and guess what is an anecdote? And from what I understand, isn't evidence-based to certain levels. Pushing yourself to the limit. 75 hard isn't technically evidence-based.
Well, dude, I mean, to drink a gallon of water in a day
Oh,
is
it's
extremely
impossible.
dangerous.
As a 70-kilogram man, okay, first of all, Canadian prick.
Yeah.
Quit using kilograms.
Yeah,
you
literally.
fruitcake.
Yeah, speak English.
Yeah, nice job, Fidel Castro's son. You're his pupil over there. My goodness. But I mean, you're right though. Like people are like, oh, it's not evidence-based to drink a gallon of water. Well,
First of all, it is.
That one is.
But yeah.
Yeah. Now, and some people will be like, well, you can't technically do 2 workouts a day. Well, first of all, they don't have to be balls to the wall workouts for both of them.
Right.
I don't know who told you that, but whatever.
Yeah.
So a lot of people would argue that 75 hard isn't evidence-based.
Right.
But
they're just giving excuses for themselves to not do it.
Yes. They're being lazy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're being Canadian. Communists.
Just a useless country.
I mean, yeah.
Again, why have we not annexed them?
There's 2.
Why have we not taken Canada over? We never
we need the sunglasses if we're going to go down this route. There's at least 2 cool people in Canada. Dane Macbeth and Eddie Morph.
Oh, I know 2 more. The guys that do the Masculine Revival podcast.
True.
Yep.
Yes.
They're awesome.
Yes.
So 4.
Yes.
That's
4.
it. Everybody else, they can come over to be an American citizen, but
That's right.
those 4, but the rest of them steamroll.
Yeah. Damn.
But again, 75 hard, doing something that is as intense as 75 hard.
Which it is.
It is intense, yeah. For 75 days is not technically evidence-based.
Right.
Just like pushing yourself to the limit, doing what David Goggins does, isn't evidence-based.
Yeah,
doing what
right.
Cameron Haynes does isn't evidence-based.
Right.
Doing what the Navy SEALs do during Hell Week isn't evidence-based.
Mm-hmm.
Doing what most of like basic training and on for like Marine infantry and all those guys, for probably even for what Connor did in basic and whatnot, it might not be evidence-based.
Right.
But is it effective?
Yes.
And does it turn your mind into basically like this unstoppable force? Yes.
Exactly.
So it's not just you. I am a huge nerd when it comes to research studies and research when it comes to fitness industry. I love that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But when you, well, actually, that's not research based. If you're doing that, and that's every time you see somebody doing a movement, it's like, oh, actually, that's the wrong way to do that movement. It's like, bro, focus on
You're
something
fat.
better. Yeah. It's like, all right, dog. You literally have a mid physique, and you're a professor of exercise science. Like, don't come at me with your RCTs, your randomized control trials, and your significance tests and whatnot, or what. Oh man, but I mean, again,
That kind of goes with our last episode. Like, are you qualified to give advice?
Yes.
Like, bro, you're 350 pounds and you just got done smacking McDonald's for the 7th time this week. Like, no, don't talk to me about weight loss, pal. Hey, the cut's going to go crazy, though, right?
Yeah, cut's gonna go crazy, dog.
buddy. Yeah.
you fat slob.
Yeah, the cut to the drive-through.
Yeah, literally. I'm going to cut you in line. Okay. If we cut your stomach open, a bunch of Big Macs would fall out. I don't know what's going on right now.
That one was like all over the place. That was fully out of left field right there. You know what's crazy though? I did have a professor who was like 350 plus
Nice.
in exercise science.
Yeah. He knows what he's talking about.
Not it's the same thing as personal trainers being just a chubbo.
Yeah.
Just a thick
I
boss.
can't do it. I can't do it.
Just a thick boss
Yeah.
trainer.
Yeah.
Like can you imagine being out of shape and being a personal trainer?
Dude, I can't. I honestly can't. It's embarrassing.
It is embarrassing.
You are literally an embarrassment to the fitness industry, to the personal
Yes.
training business as a whole.
You are supposed to be physically fit.
Yes.
That is what the starting
Yes.
point is of a personal trainer.
Right.
That's where you should be at.
And also, who is paying those people? Look at the dude and be like,
Yep.
should I really be taking fitness advice from this guy? Diet advice from this guy? No.
You know, to me, what I've seen, the people that do pay those people, it seems like they do want to do training, do want to be pushed in quotations, but they don't really want to.
Yeah.
Like they're like, okay, I see this guy's a little bit softer, so he's going to train me a little bit easier.
Yeah.
And, maybe I'll get results this way. And so they don't actually dive in.
True.
They might see the jack guy and be like, he's going to be a drill sergeant. When in
It's
reality,
intimidating.
When in reality,
Right.
again, being jacked doesn't mean you're a professor in exercise science, like I said, but
Sure.
it does give a certain level of credibility,
Yeah.
and it should level a certain level of credibility. too.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. Yeah.
but again, hanging your shoes and
You hang your shoes?
hanging my hat. That's what I was looking for. Butcher.
Mitch, do you hang your shoes?
If I'm in East St. Louis, from the electric poles, when
I know exactly what you're talking
like
about, Mitchell.
drug deals
That's
and
just
stuff?
dark.
when people
That-
get
No, that's
killed.
like isn't that cartel shit? I thought.
I don't know.
Yeah, they string the
All right,
shoes.
how
up on
about
it.
we
Yeah.
that
get
just-
to
that
get,
didn't work.
Get to the regularly
No,
scheduled
that's-
program.
That's all right. That's all right.
It's all right, Wurtz. You just couldn't understand the intelligence.
Again, I didn't hear anything. Did you hear something?
That was pretty funny though.
Okay.
But the actual point of this is you shouldn't just be all evidence based all the time. You can't sit and say, again, going back to the incline press example, if that person is having better success on their range of motion on their shoulder, and you sit there and be like, well, actually, again, you should be doing barbell incline if we're being really honest here. It's like, bro, take the lab coat off for a second.
Yeah.
Like let's calm down.
Right.
Like actually though,
Right.
you don't have to be all about the newest randomized control trial at the time. I love research, but if something works for somebody and it's keeping them consistent in the gym, awesome.
Right.
That's what we're looking for.
Right.
The whole idea of fitness is consistency.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
if evidence-based, again, more evidence-based training, buzzword, if that is for a person something they don't stay consistent with, then they're not getting any results because they're
Exactly.
not in the gym.
Right. Right.
But if, maybe they're doing a lot more they're doing 30 sets per muscle group during a workout, and, technically intensity is supposed to be better for that, but the high volume works for them,
Right.
and they stay consistent, awesome.
Exactly.
Whatever.
Exactly.
Am I going to nitpick and whatnot? Am I going to still post content that says intensity is great? Yeah, I am. But I'm not going to go and comment and nitpick and be like, bro, actually, you should be doing like maybe 2 sets on this movement
Right.
and like keep it to like 8 sets total instead of 30. Like
Right.
I'm not going to go on and do that. There's no reason behind that.
Right.
It is again, same thing when we work with our clients. Some people might want to track their macros, and we've had that already as
Right.
it is. And again, like as our past, we've dealt with people that some people are great at tracking their macros. Others, like me, aren't. They just don't enjoy that. It doesn't keep them consistent. It's something that feels like a chore sometimes. Whatever it is, it's something I could do 100%. That's just, I know that on my own. But you can still get results by being like, okay, let's just track your protein and go from there. Let's keep your protein high, and then we'll work from there.
Right.
Everything else, once we get that down the protein, then we'll go from there.
Yes.
Is it more evidence-based to do macros? Because calories in, calories out? Yeah. Sure. But if it's going to keep them consistent, let's just focus on the protein for right now.
And there's obviously certain people too where, and this is not me saying this to you because you're a different case and you have an understanding of all this, but if someone doesn't want to, let's just go with the tracking food thing.
Yep.
If someone doesn't want to track food, there's a chance it's because they don't want to actually see the real numbers.
Oh yeah.
So there's a laziness to it, or they know they're eating a lot more or a lot less than what they should be, and they're embarrassed about it or whatever. Those types, like, we're going to experience that at some point.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have to work on that with that person. Be like, listen, this is why you're not getting the results you want to get. You need to at least track it for this period of time. And if you want to continue doing it after that, great. But you need to at least fully dive into the tracking here, because it's going to open your eyes. And then we can really figure out why you're not getting the results that you want to get. Yep. You know what I mean?
Yes, I know exactly what you mean. What's a perfect example off of that is if somebody says, man, I've been eating less, but I'm not losing weight.
Have you, though?
Track it for a week.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see that you're still in a surplus.
Exactly.
So that's one of those cases where you can tell, when it's time that you should track some calories.
Exactly.
But if you're, again, and on my end, because of the fact that I don't track calories, I don't ever make excuses like that.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, well, if I feel like I put on an unnecessary 3 to 5 pounds or whatever, then what I do is I cut out this usual thing I eat during the day.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'll go back and track for a week and then set my baseline and go from there.
Exactly.
But if you're making the excuses of like, man, I've been trying to gain weight, and I've been eating a lot, but I just haven't been gaining weight.
Yeah. That's the number one thing. Obviously, currently, I work with a lot of high school athletes. Almost all of them want to gain weight.
Yep.
And almost all of them need to. We have some that are fine. We also have some that are on the opposite end that could afford to lose a few. But a lot of them need and want to gain weight. So I have that conversation with them like, hey, here's what I recommend. Here's what I think your number should be at as far as calories and protein. But listen, I'm not going to know unless you, track at least. I tell them for a 2-week period. I'm like, start with 2 weeks. I get it. It's daunting. And then I literally pull up my own MyFitnessPal. Be like, listen, this is how you can do it. If you have eggs, just search egg. It's the first one that comes up.
Yep.
Is it always going to be 100% honest with things like spaghetti?
Right.
Spaghetti's a tough one, okay? Because if you don't measure out the spaghetti you have at dinner, and a lot of times I do weigh out my own food. That's just me personally, though. That's what works for me.
Mm-hmm.
Things like spaghetti, I don't. I kind of have to guess. So is that going to be 100% accurate? No. But what I do is I tell them, do this, do this, do this. This is what I recommend. And then they'll come in 2 weeks later. It's like, I'm definitely eating more. I'm definitely eating a lot, but like, I'm not gaining any weight. It's like, have you? Like, yeah, I'm eating a ton. Are you? Like, are you sure?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, maybe not. It's like, okay, so we got to make adjustments here. You gotta trust me. That's the biggest thing. You got to trust me. If you're going to ask me that question, you need to trust that I'm going to give you an honest answer, and then you need to take that advice and apply it. That's the biggest thing.
Mm-hmm.
When we have clients of our own and they're not getting results, it's not going to be our fault. We're going to give them the plan. Follow the damn plan. And we're going to know if you're not. And you're going to know if you're not. But don't come to us with the problems when you know that we are giving you the tools to get you the results that you want to get.
Exactly.
It's pretty simple.
That's one thing that evidence-based never fails on is calories in, calories out.
Yes, without a doubt.
And energy balance is end-all, be-all evidence-based. There's no anecdote that can get you around over-consuming 500 calories over your maintenance.
Right.
You're going to gain weight.
Yes.
If you eat 500 calories a day like every college girl in America does, then you're going to look like a skeleton.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. You're going to lose weight because you are in a negative energy balance.
I'm telling you, ladies, that's not what the boys want.
No.
It's just not. Like, it's not.
No. We want you to do your squats.
Yeah.
That's what we want.
Sure.
That's why you have the mic up for that. What? I didn't say anything.
To quote Money Mitch, damn right. Well, anyway, guys, that's what we wanted to cover as far as the power of the anecdote for this physical vitality episode, and just kind of go over how we've done plenty of different styles. We have seen results with different styles. We have seen a lack of results with certain styles. And just all in all, how different styles are going to work for certain people and they won't work for others. Yes, science-based is very, very good to go off of, and there's a reason that data backs whatever it is you're looking at. Sometimes, though, you got to just use the street smarts. You've got to recognize what your body responds to, what it doesn't respond to. Even though science maybe says the incline bench, barbell bench is better than the dumbbells, but if, like, I'm this person, dumbbells are far more effective for me personally, whether it's flat bench, incline bench, shoulder press, whatever. So I'm going to go with the dumbbells.
Yep.
I don't get pain. I see better results as far as muscle mass gained. So that's what I'm going to do. I also get a better pump with them. I can recruit the muscles that I want for getting a pump,
Yep.
even on the athletic program that we're on now. So that's what we wanted to cover as far as the anecdote goes.
Yeah.
The power of the anecdote, I should say.
The power.
The power of the dark side.
Yes.
At the end of all of our episodes, guys, Money Mitch will ask us a Q&A question that is submitted by you guys, the viewers or the listeners. You can submit these questions a couple different ways. The best and most effective way to send these to us is our Instagram DMs, which is at untapped.llp, or you can DM them to either one of our personal Instagrams. You can email them to us, which is extricationfitness@gmail.com. There's an email button on our Instagram bio. You can also leave them in the comments on the YouTube video. So if you guys didn't know, we are on YouTube as well, so you can watch us and see our reactions and see Money Mitch's beautiful face over there. But you can also leave the questions in the comments down there. We're really trying to grow the YouTube. So even if you guys would rather...
If YouTube lets us grow it.
Yeah, true. We did have an episode taken down, which is pretty sweet. We are on the list officially, ladies and gents.
Pretty hype.
But even if you guys are like me and you really just like to listen to podcasts, go over to YouTube, subscribe, give us a comment. It will help us grow. It'll help us continue to bring you solid content, solid episodes. But anyway, Money Mitch, ready, set, go.
I'm skating the system. This is a question that actually comes from an anecdotal experience of mine today in the gym.
Did you submit this to the DMs?
Yeah.
That's why I said skating the system.
Did you send this through our Trainerize because you're an untapped client through Untapped Training?
Yeah.
Hey, you kept that on the box. I'm not saying that over.
That's why he looks so good.
Darn tootin'.
What the fuck? Darn tootin'?
Yeah, you never heard that?
What are we in Pacific right now?
I mean, we are going to be.
Well, damn it.
Anywho, what is a good way, or do you even approach people in the gym when they're having a really, really hard time with basic form, basic stuff? Do you approach those people?
Yeah.
Do you not? How? What are you guys' thoughts on that?
So that's a pretty solid question.
He literally was like, he came over today when we were at Iron Hive and was like,
shout out, awesome gym, awesome owner.
Yep.
Awesome couple that
Iron Hive STL on the Iron Hive STL on Instagram. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But we were there, new gym, about a month old or so. So naturally there is some what I would consider beginners there. And one of them was a younger kid. I don't know how old he was, probably 16, 17, give or take. And he was struggling on squat. Mitchell literally came over to me. I was on the turf, and then the actual squat area is back, and you can't see it from where I'm at on the turf. And Mitchell's like, hey, you got to check this out. Should we help this kid? It was that bad.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I come over, and he fails on 275 on squat, which is a lot of weight.
Definitely.
For somebody 16, 17 years old.
Absolutely.
And for anybody for that matter, 275 is a lot of weight if you think about it. And he fails right in front of us. He has the safety bars on, thank God, but doesn't know how to correctly fail at all. At first I watched and I was like, okay, he could be purposely just going through the eccentric, but then you watch his knees were had knee valgus caving in while he was going down. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is not good. But apparently Mitchell said he was on 225 too, and he was knee valgusing the whole way through and couldn't even get down all the way and all this stuff.
For those that don't know what knee valgus means, that's just when your knees are caving in.
Yeah.
I don't know. You might have just said that, but
no, you're
anyway,
good. I definitely should clarify that because it's just a nerdy way of saying your knees are caving in.
Sure.
Yeah. But yeah, Mitch literally called me over and he failed on 275. Was noticeably trying to pull the bar back up into the rack with 275
with the weight on it.
Yeah.
Oh,
and again, he objectively could not lift this weight. So and he
I couldn't.
Yeah, I mean nobody could just unless you want to standing clean it from the safety bars. That's not happening.
Yeah.
Unless you're literally
Ronnie Coleman.
Yeah, Ronnie Coleman. Yeah, that's about it. That's all that came to my mind. But so Mitch and I headed over to help him, and so Mitch was able to get under the bar, push it back up. But he couldn't even really get under to lift it up. He finally did, but it was a struggle to pull his side back up onto the rack.
I see.
Which again, he's 16 to 17 years old. He's probably new to lifting.
Yeah.
And so Mitchell's right. We didn't get to see he was done after that, but we didn't get to see any more form by him and whatnot. So we didn't say anything more. But if we see it again, you almost feel obligated to have that conversation.
Us as trainers and coaches.
Yeah,
like 100%. And this is a tough one because it's like how do you approach it?
Approach it from a non-you guys perspective, from just a normal gym goer perspective, not from a personal trainer lens or from a coach lens. How would any one of our listeners approach that? Yeah,
if you were alone. Yeah. So I think you first just try to create a conversation, and hey man, how's it going? Like, this new gym's awesome, isn't it? How long you been working out? So then you figure that piece out. Because if he's like, I'm actually just getting into it. I've been in the gym about a month.
That answers your question.
And you're like, first of all, that's great. I love that you're in here. I've actually been working out for a few years. Can I help you out with some form tips? Or can I help you out with the squats? Or can I help you out with the bench or whatever the movement is? I think I would go about it that way. Now, again, this goes back to our last episode. Are you someone, and I know that you are, Mitch, yourself. However, those of you listening or watching, are you confident enough in your form that you could be able to critique and give advice to someone else on the form? Okay? If you have a question about your own form, ask somebody. If there are trainers at your gym, just ask like, hey, can you watch me squat? Or if there's someone that is visibly in good shape, you see them in there all the time, ask them if they can watch your form. Or if you don't want to ask about form, ask for a spot. So I think that's how I would go about it.
I like that a lot.
If I'm not a coach or a trainer.
Yeah. I thought that was great.
Now, if you are a coach or a trainer, don't approach it, hey, I'm actually a personal trainer. Like, let me help you out. Like, you're going to turn that person off immediately.
Yep.
Like, all right, dick. Like, like
asshole.
No, 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
And I mean that. Like, you're not going to. They don't want to listen to you because you're coming off as an asshole. That's exactly right. So, I don't know how you word it, but just, hey man, can I help you out with your?
It could be literally almost the same thing too.
It could be
like what you just said. Like, hey bro, how long you been working out for?
Introduce yourself or something.
There
has
to be a break the ice period.
Yes,
it's basically creating a relationship is the idea of it.
Yes,
yeah, like
right.
creating buy-in from the person when you first meet them.
Yeah,
basically is the idea. And the thing is too is what you just said about checking yourself a little bit, making sure you're qualified for the situation. Keep in mind, guys, all of us in here have been exercising for 3+ years.
Right.
So there's a different level of qualification. We all are physically fit human beings, objectively. Because of that, we feel like we can have this conversation.
Absolutely.
And in every gym, there should be somebody that is qualified to talk to these people. So if you're listening, you're one of those people, you're like, man, I see this person that really doesn't have great form in my gym, have the conversation.
Yeah.
Now, if you're a 65-plus-year-old man, do not go up to a woman and attempt to give her form tips.
Yes.
Like we see at a lot of commercial gyms.
Yeah.
They're trying to be a hero, and they're like, hey, sweetheart, you want me to help you with that?
Yeah, right.
It's like, no.
Right.
No. Which they're, again, 65+, they're definitely not listening. Like, we might have a few listeners that are 65+, but
maybe.
I don't know. But doubtful that's our largest demographic on the podcast.
Right.
But there is certain situations, especially, and even a dude going up to a girl can be somewhat risky in this
for
scenario.
sure, especially depending on the movement.
Yeah.
Especially depending on the movement.
If it's
very
RDLs
tough.
and you go up there and try to give advice to a girl, you're
Exactly.
not going to look great there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, if they ask you for help, by all means.
Different.
Do it correctly, though. Don't be a weirdo.
Yeah.
Don't stand behind them while they're doing RDLs. Like, just don't.
Why
don't
not?
Put
Why not?
Don't put yourself in that position, okay?
Bait.
Yeah.
Tried to fish him in there, Mitch.
Yeah. I'm a trout, so I'm smarter than you. I'll go right around your bait. But
What a crazy comparison there.
trout are smart.
You're like, I'm a trout.
Yeah.
Mike Trout?
Sure.
Goat?
Yeah.
I think you'd be a rainbow trout.
Oh,
Mitch, I'm so sick of your shit in this episode. I swear to God, bro. You better
great,
sleep.
though.
You better sleep with
That
one
was-
eye open and eye.
I mean, that was phenomenal words. Yeah, like, that's a great capitalization.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good. Okay.
Wurtz is gay, confirmed.
Oh my gosh.
Episode title. That's the new clickbait title for this one.
We already had
ladies
a vlog. Wurtz is flaming hot.
so basically the same thing. To be honest with you.
Oh, gosh.
And I think there's also more nuance to that as well. Right.
Oh.
You have the break the ice period, but like, is it a duty? Like, is it a duty to almost try and protect that person from hurting themselves?
Yeah.
From
Man to man, I'd say yeah.
Yeah. From maybe getting them to a point where they come to the gym consistently.
Mm-hmm.
Because who knows, you could be the catalyst for you being their gym friend, and then they come to the gym every single day hyped
Right.
up because they know there's people there to support them.
Right.
There's nuance to that. They could have no one. They don't know how to work out. They're terrified.
Mm-hmm.
It's a battle every day to get themselves in there. But that maybe one conversation is the catalyst for them to be consistent.
Definitely. I mean that's like the old saying, you never know whose day you might brighten up with a smile.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know if that's exactly how that saying goes, but you know what I'm saying.
Yep.
So it kind of goes into that as well. So you're 100% right. You could be that catalyst and who knows? Like that could be a pretty cool opportunity. But I think it's just approaching it correctly, trying to break the ice, start the conversation, build a relationship, all the things that we've all said here. Because then it just gets that awkwardness. Because if they fail on a lift, or if you just come at them with, hey, you're doing this wrong, like there's going to be an embarrassment there from them. And you don't want that. You don't want that. Because then they're going to shut down. They're going to be intimidated. They maybe don't show up anymore. Like, don't come at it with the problem immediately. Not that you're going to avoid it, but you just need to lead into it. And I think that's the best and most effective way to do that.
Yeah, and just be careful. If you are, like in my position, I would feel comfortable, giving a woman advice in the right scenario.
Oh, for sure.
But again, I would even be careful with social norms there and whatnot and all that stuff.
without a
Even on
doubt.
my end. I've been doing this for 6-7 years now.
Yeah.
So even on my end, I would take steps if it was a female and be smart about how I approach the situation.
Yeah.
If she's literally about to hurt herself, I'm obviously going to say something. You have to in that scenario.
Without a doubt.
But again, there is nuance there. Like, because there's ways to approach situations like this, like we're saying, and there's ways to not.
And there's just ways to word things to males and females differently that, is going to avoid any awkwardness or uncomfortable, situations. I train a lot of female athletes right now too. I don't always word things to them the same way I do to our male athletes. Not that it's sketchy or weird or anything like that, but it's just like, instead of saying, get your butt up, get your hips up. It's a different way.
It is.
So that's just one example that comes to mind.
That's a great way to say it. Yeah,
exactly.
And again, like with the guys, you can joke a little bit more. You can say some different stuff a lot of times too.
It's
so
never,
it allows for that.
It's never weird, but it's just like if I tell one of our boys to, hey, on your plank, get your butt up. It's just get your butt up.
Right.
If I say that to a girl, that comes off awkward or weird or whatever. I'm just going to avoid that entirely.
Exactly.
So
you don't want, which is crazy that if you think about it, that we are in the world that requires that in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Because the fact that we understand that sexual assault, pedophilia is so common.
Sure.
We have to nuance that
and
stuff.
allegations can happen like that.
There you go.
That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And then
false
career
allegations
ruined,
are very common.
Life ruined and everything. Yeah. So No, I like that question, Mitch. I'm actually really glad you just asked that. I think it's a really good one, and I'm sure there's plenty of you that have been in that situation. Maybe you've been on the receiving end.
Yeah.
Maybe you were the person that had bad form. Let us know how someone approached you, if they did, and just kind of the effect it had on you, good or bad. I'd actually be really interested to hear that. So let us know you guys' anecdotal experience there. Boom.
Nice connection.
That's right. That's right. So, guys, please share the show. It really helps us grow, okay? Just share it to your Instagram stories, text it to people, talk to people about us and about our show. It does wonders for us. It really, really does. Every time we get a lot of shares, the more and more we get interaction, the more and more new listeners and followers and subscribers that we get. And the more we do that, the more we can bring these great episodes to you guys, the more we can bring on guests as well. So, guys, please keep helping us out. Share the show, share the message. Until next time, peace and love.
Thanks, ladies and gents.